OJ Simpson passed away today. I believe he was 76 years old. Sarah, do you even know who OJ Simpson is?
I've heard a few things, but you kind of know from the relevant world, I guess. But before my time, I wasn't even born yet when it happened. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Tom Cherichello. Some call me Tominator. Some women call me a lot worse. I'd like to welcome you all to the debut episode of the Tominator podcast. A little background on myself, since it's our first episode. I was born and raised in New Jersey, went to college in New Jersey, worked in New Jersey a lot of my life with some stints in Las Vegas, Louisiana, and Delaware. Moved to beautiful Sarasota, Florida in 2011. I'm a self-employed attorney. I specialize in personal injury and insurance claims. If an insurance company doesn't want to pay you, I'm the guy to call. A little bit about our podcast. I don't want anyone to think, oh, this is a boring legal podcast. We're going to touch on a lot of topics in the weeks ahead. Of course, legal issues, sports, politics, religion, entertainment, the economy, health and fitness. I don't know a whole lot about that. And food and drink. I know a heck of a lot about that. Got a few shout outs before we begin. Introduce our guest. First, Kim Kardashian. For those of you who don't know, Kim is studying to be an attorney in California. Her father was an attorney who represented OJ Simpson, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. For those of you who don't know yet, OJ Simpson passed away today, so I'm going to touch on that a little bit. So California is maybe the only state where you don't have to go to law school to become an attorney. But they really they make it easy for you to become an attorney in California. So you can do what's called read the law, and that's what Kim is doing. She's, I guess, interning at a law firm and, learning the law from them and studying on her own. She's passed the California, what they call baby bar. They're the only state that has that. It's sort of like a preliminary bar exam. And she will have to ultimately pass the full California bar exam. But Kim, I'm licensed in Florida and Louisiana already. Iowa, I just need to go up there and get sworn in. I'm waiting for it to warm up a little bit in Des Moines before I head up. New Jersey should be coming soon, and then several other states to follow. So I want to put that out there right now. If you want to partner up, we could call it, TKs or Tominator, or we'll come up with some kind of name that works. I figure with your brains and my looks, we will be Tominating. My next shout out is to Tom Brady, just because he's the greatest of all time, and he was living in Tampa. We're based in Sarasota, Florida here. Our podcast is originating from Sarasota. So I think Tom would be really cool to have on the show. So that open invitation is out there. I'll provide transportation and free Hooters when Tom is ready to join us. And my last shout out is to Selena Gomez, because she's also the greatest of all time, in my opinion. And she also has the open invitation to appear on the program. Basically in every state, they encourage attorneys to do what they call pro bono work for those that, are less fortunate and need help and can't afford an attorney. And I try to do as much as I can. Now, from what I read, Selena's worth like $800 million, but I'm just putting that out there. Selena will never pay a bill for me. Free legal services for life. All right. So at this point, I'd like to introduce today's guest, and hopefully maybe even future co-host. We have to hammer out a contract. She won't need to consult with an attorney. Just sign whatever I put in front of you. This person is a real client. This is not an actor that I hired on the side of the road and said, hey, would you come on? I actually have represented her in the past and consider myself to be her attorney today. Sarah Magda, welcome to the TomCast.
Thanks for having me.
I just invented that name. You like it, TomCast?
I like the TomCast. That's a good name, actually. Call it that.
All right, we're going to have to go with that. We'll have to trademark that. I'll have to get on it this
trademark
week.
It.
So I know what, obviously all my viewers are new. This is our first episode, as I mentioned. they're probably thinking, oh, he just got the most beautiful woman he could find to be on his podcast.
That's right.
And my answer is, hey, I got to get ratings. Give me a break here. So just so you know, Sarah, like maybe 10 years from now, you might be an answer to a trivia question. When we have 100 million viewers, is that possible? What's the most popular podcast? I don't know.
Mr. Beast.
I watch his videos a lot. He's really good.
So you'll be the answer to a trivia question. Who was the first ever guest on the TomCast? It would be you.
It's me. That's right.
You'll be my first, always.
That's it.
All right. So before we get started, maybe talk a little bit about my representation. I'm sure our viewers would like to know some things about you. So let's start off. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Illinois, a little town called New Lenox.
Where's that? Chicago suburb?
Yep, like Chicago suburb. It's a pretty small town. It's a lot of corn, beans. That's really it out there. That's all you get. Cold, almost 9 months of the year. That's pretty much it, yeah.
You go to high school there?
I did. I went to Lincoln Way West out there. I loved my school. We were the Warriors. Yep, we were Warriors, black and orange, Halloween colors.
Did you play sports?
I did. Growing up, I did 17 years of gymnastics. I tried out for the national team. Man, I cheered. I played soccer.
Forgot the cheerleader outfit?
I forgot the cheerleader outfit today. Yeah, it's packed in the garage still. You know,
It
still fits. It still fits. I think I'm in better shape now than I was in high school. Honestly.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I went to law school in Louisiana, and they started a chain there called kind of like a Hooters ripoff called Walk-Ons.
Yep.
And now they're moved into Florida. I think there's some in the Panhandle, maybe one in Orlando. But I used to go to Walk-Ons. I met Cherichello at a Walk-Ons one time.
Did you really?
Yes, he was so nice.
Dang.
Because he went to LSU, and I guess he was back there for some reason.
Yeah.
But they wear cheerleader outfits. Like, that's their thing.
Okay. Nice. All right. I like that.
Maybe we need to get the franchise for
get the franchise out here.
So what were your other interests in high school? What were your favorite classes?
So, man, I took 3 years of cooking classes. That was one of my favorites. But
I don't mean to interrupt again. You know how to cook?
Give or take, I can do some things. I like to make some calzones. You know, I was really good at that. That's where I learned it.
That's not easy to make.
It's not. But you buy like the pre-made dough at like Publix or something or Walmart, and they always have them like the pastries, and just kind of go from there with it.
So what were your other favorite classes in high school?
Let's see. Another favorite class. We were talking about this earlier before we got on the podcast, but criminal justice, that one was fun. You got to see like all the cases. We didn't get too in-depth with it, but it was just really interesting class that you've been able to like see all the cases from like past, present, and everything else. Yeah, being able to like analyze them and do everything. But yeah, I had a cool teacher too, so.
It's not too late. You could become an attorney.
It's not too late.
You'll have a good one.
I'm still young. Plenty of life ahead.
I'm not going to ask any woman how old she is. I learned that for those guys out there. Hey, look at this face. You know, I get plenty of dates. I don't ask a woman how old she is. No matter how much I don't like her haircut, I love it.
Oh, the haircut. I'm 24. It's okay.
So let's talk about post-high school. Where did it lead you?
Post-high school. I graduated from my high school, and 2 weeks later, I moved here to Florida. And I couldn't wait to go. I just wanted a change. You know, it was really cold up there. I've always visited in Sarasota, Florida, my family. So I was like, I just wanted a change. Was sick of like the cold and gloomy and corn and beans, and I kind of wanted to come to beautiful Sarasota. But yeah, it brought me here. I did a semester at SCF, and I wasn't really a huge fan. But so I kind of took a step back from that and just started working like full-time as a bartender and server at Hooters, which is amazing.
You still work there now?
I still work there now. 6 years later, we're still here.
I actually am a regular at Hooters. It's one of my favorite places in Sarasota.
It's a good hangout. It's a fun place. Everybody should come, I say.
I went there last Saturday, and it was early, and so the restaurant really wasn't that crowded, but Sarah's section was full. I had to sit with someone else.
That's right. I always got a full section. The people love what they love.
Any pets?
I do. I have 2 golden retrievers and a cat.
What are your Golden's names?
It's Ranger and Rover. They're so cute. They're about 5 years old now, and my cat's name is Jinx.
How do you spell that?
Jynx.
Jynx?
Yep, Jynx.
What kind of cat you have?
She's a trash panda. I found her at a trash plant, actually. And I saved her. My friend knew that they would just get crushed by equipment. And he's like, I know you love animals. Like, can you just take her? Like, just foster her? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. And I never got rid of her. She's my little sidekick. She's always by my side. All three of them get along so well.
I met your dogs recently. They seem to like me a lot. You know?
Yeah,
animals have that.
How could you not like
sense.
Tominator? I don't know how you couldn't like Tominator.
What other hobbies do you have? What do you do for fun?
For fun, I'd like to take a lot of boat days. I love like the Western industry, like the rodeos. I go to a lot of those. Love riding horses. I always go to my friend Courtney's house and ride hers with her. I also have a bow and arrow. I love archery. I have a PSI compound bow. I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's like, I call it like, guys love to golf, but like, that's my golf for me.
Do you know? You're too young to remember an actress named Gina Davis?
No, yeah, too young.
I'm a big movie buff, but she was kind of like, she was a really good actress, but also like kind of a sex symbol, like 6 foot tall.
Okay.
When I was a kid, and she tried out for the Olympics for archery.
Did she really?
I think she might have even been in the Olympics. That I'm not so sure.
Dang.
But I kind of lost track of her.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that, but that's actually pretty cool. Everyone always asks me, like, what do you do with it? Do you go hunting? What do you do? And I'm like, I just shoot at a target, and I just kind of target practice, and that's pretty much it. Just calms everything inside, because you got to focus on that one thing. That's all that matters, is getting that bullseye right there.
I remember when I was a kid, my brother was shooting a bow and arrow, and he shot it straight up in the air, so like a jerk.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of kids, and we just all fled. What are the odds? The arrow comes down and hits me in the head.
No.
Yes.
Have you seen Grown Ups? The Grown Ups where they shoot, it's like arrow roulette, where they shoot the arrow up in the air, and then whoever is the last one to leave wins, and then it comes down and shoots them right in the foot.
We can't be plugging competitive broadcasters. I'll do the plugging. Hooters of Sarasota, Tominator Law. How about sports teams? Are you still loyal to Chicago area teams? Or who's your favorite football team?
No. My favorite football team would be the Bucks.
Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
So when he's on, that'll be your episode?
Yeah, that's right. I'll be right there.
Hear that, Tom? We got a fan here. How about baseball? Cubs? White Sox?
You know what? I don't watch much baseball, honestly. But if I do, it'd probably have to be the Cubs, because that was my aunt's favorite team. So I'm going to go with her.
You ever been to Wrigley Field?
I never have.
Never have?
Never have. I haven't even been to the Rays field over here.
Okay, I won't get into that this episode. How about basketball? Michael Jordan, the Bulls?
Yeah, my sister was actually a Bulls cheerleader, so I got to go to a few of those games.
How many sisters do you have?
I have 2 sisters.
Any brothers?
No brothers, just 3 girls.
So you're the baby?
I'm the baby. My poor dad.
Do your sisters live in the area?
My one does. She lives here in Sarasota, and my other one lives in New York with her boyfriend.
Oh, great. How about favorite movie ever?
Favorite movie ever? You know what? Honestly, I'm going to go with the classic here, because you can never go wrong. I'm going to have to say Step Brothers. It's just such a classic movie, and you can always laugh at it.
A classic? What year is that movie?
I don't know if it was a classic, but for me, it's always a go-to.
How about favorite singer?
Favorite singer? That's a good one.
Taylor Swift?
You know what? I'm not really a Swiftie. I like a few of her songs, but I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie. I would have to say, like, oh man, that's a hard one. Post Malone. Post Malone.
I saw him on Saturday Night Live because Selena Gomez was the host, and he was
so
a musical guest.
Watched it. That's why you watched it. No,
Selena's not high on your list.
Selena is high, but Post Malone, I would travel overseas to go see Post Malone. I want to see him in concert.
All right, we'll have to see what we can do. Maybe put that in your compensation package.
Yep. Write it in the contract.
I don't know about overseas. You're going local.
That's fine. We'll do local.
How about favorite food and drink? What are your favorite places to eat and drink in Sarasota?
Ooh.
Hooters.
Besides Hooters? Dang. I love food and beer. Like the Sarasota Food and Beer over in Gulfgate, they have some great drinks. It's called the they have like a Bramble drink there. I love that. And then they have these just really good burgers. They have like a lot of options. They also have like a bowl. Super good. Definitely food and beer.
I'll give a free shout out to Food and Beer. I started going to the one in Gulfgate. Now they're all over. There's one downtown.
They got a lot of locations. They're doing really good.
I went to Lightning hockey game this week with one of their bartenders from their Bradenton location.
Okay.
So, I definitely agree with you there. And I don't want to put you on the spot here. Favorite lawyer?
Tominator.
All right, there you go.
Duh. That was an easy one.
That was. Any other hobbies that we should know about?
Any other hobbies? That's pretty much it. I like to lay in bed all day, too, when I have my days off,
You look like you're in pretty good shape there to go to gym.
I do. I do Pilates like 5 days a week, and then I'll go to the gym, too. I walk a mile every morning. I guess you can consider that a hobby, yeah.
When we do the health and fitness episode, I think you're going to be taking the lead on that.
Yep, I'll take the lead on that.
All right.
I'll carry it.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, I'm also your attorney, and I handle and I should preface by saying that with all my clients and every attorney, everything about your case is confidential. So do you want to talk about your case? Are you comfortable talking about? All right.
Yeah.
I know when it is. I actually brought your case file with me today. Do you remember when that happened?
I think it was at the beginning of December.
That's correct.
Yep.
December 1st.
Yeah.
Remember the year?
Memorable, yep. It was 2019, I think.
21.
21.
12/1/21.
Whoa, time flies.
That had to be a traumatic experience.
It was pretty traumatic, was something that I was not expecting. It was the last thing that I was expecting. I literally was at the grocery store, had groceries in my car, and it was a pretty crazy experience, honestly.
What happened?
So there's this really busy road called Tuttle in Sarasota, and I was completely stopped, and I had a car behind me, and then all of a sudden, I just hear brakes screeching, and I look up, and next thing I know, my head hit the steering wheel, and I heard glass shatter everywhere. It ended up being a pickup truck, like an overloaded pickup truck, like an overweight pickup truck with a trailer carrying trees in the back, and it smashed into the car behind me, and then that car also hit me. And that car in between was absolutely totaled, and my car was nearly close to it.
And wasn't your car, it was a new car, wasn't it?
It was brand new. I literally just bought it 2 months. It was 2 months new, yeah.
And I guess you were injured in the accident, right?
I was. I actually tweaked my back a lot, and my neck had a few issues, and my head hit the steering wheel, so I had a big bruise on my face as well.
Well, fortunately, that healed pretty good.
It healed real good.
And then you came to the Tominator.
Yeah, I was...
And not to be, I'm not going to say I'm not asking you to say what your settlement was, but I was looking at your file earlier today, and the amount of your settlement, I think, was from their first offer to what we settled for. The maximum amount of insurance there was 30 times. I do recall, you say to me, Tom, this is stressful. Just settle it. And I said, no, Sarah, just wait.
Yep. I listened. I was scared though too. I didn't know what to do. That was my first car accident I think I ever been in, and when I myself driving, and I didn't really know what to do. And Tom kind of helped me guide through the way, and he guided me, and he kind of held my hand through it, and just kind of followed his direction, and we got there. And it was crazy because what was even crazier about the crash is that both people, both in the other cars, the one car that hit us, they didn't have insurance, and they didn't have proper driver's license. And the person behind me, I felt really bad for them. They just moved here from Hawaii, and they didn't even have right registration for their car because they just bought theirs too. And it was very chaotic and unknowing of where to turn. But T-Bone helped me.
I think if you haven't experienced it, and obviously you can say I'm biased, being an injury attorney, but if you've never been in an accident, you really can't know. I mean, it's very stressful. And as far as injuries go, I'm sure there are people out there that think that's a scam, with all this attorney advertising and call these 800 numbers and what have you. But sometimes the injuries can show up years later. So you really do need to get checked out, whether you hire an attorney or not.
Yeah, I actually ended up, I had MRIs done. I had physical therapy once or twice a week, and they ended up finding out that one of my discs was, and a nerve in my back was pinched, and I can't remember what they called it, but the S curve in my spine was also not aligned, so they actually wanted to permanently numb my lower back. And I was a little scared at first, and I kind of went over it with my family and everything, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of wait it out just to kind of see for now, because I was like back surgery at the time I was 21 years old, like kind of made me a little nervous. So we kind of, and they gave me other options like the epidural shots I could do in my back and fit ice. So I just continued with physical therapy, and slowly but surely I kind of adjusted my workout. Instead of doing heavy weights, just kind of adjusted my life to it, which kind of took away a little bit, but you just get used to it type of thing.
I remember after your vehicle was repaired at the body shop, fixed it, I handled what we call a diminished value claim for you. I don't know. You remember that?
Yep.
Because for those listeners who don't know, even if the insurance company pays to fix your car and the body shop does a good job, your car is still branded. Like, I don't believe you still have that car anymore, do you?
I don't, yeah.
So you probably lost money when you traded it in or sold it.
Yeah.
So I was able to get you a decent amount of money for the diminished value.
Yeah. I didn't even know what that was. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but I didn't even know what that was. And, Tom told me that this was another way that we can kind of go about it too. And I was like, yeah, he got the job done.
I noticed in reviewing your file today, I didn't even charge you for that part of it.
Yeah.
I guess it's too late for me to bill it.
Write that in the contract.
I'll put that in your contract. I remember, one thing I do remember is I got that check first before your injury was settled.
Yes.
And I called Sarah, and I was at another well-known Sarasota establishment. It's called Evie's on Bee Ridge Road. It's a driving range. It's a bar, restaurant. They have pizza, and behind it they have a driving range. And I was hitting outballs. And I called Sarah, and it was raining. And I said, I got your check. If you for diminished value, I'll be here for a while. And I remember it was raining. You didn't want to get out of the car, so I come running. One attorney comes running out to the parking lot, and hands you your check in the rain.
Exactly. That is class act service right there.
There you go. I'm glad it all worked out. What about the future? Like, what? Any hopes, dreams, aspirations, plans?
Well,
one day at a time.
One day at a time. Like I said, I work at Hooters, and I have gotten so many opportunities through Hooters and everything. So I just, right now I'm just kind of riding the wave, as I like to call it, just kind of going where life takes me. I was Miss January this year in the Hooters calendar, so that was...
Is that still on sale? Can we get it?
Yeah, it's still on sale.
Even though it's, what is the date today, April 11th?
Yeah, it's still on sale, don't worry.
Do they discount it?
It could be January year-round if you want it to be. Just hang up Miss January year-round, yeah. So this year, I shot in the Bahamas with them. The past, I think it's like 4 or 5 years I shot in the Bahamas with them. I'm going again this year, actually, in a couple weeks for 8 days with them. So, yeah, just kind of writing out. I just sent in my submission, so fingers crossed that I can be, in the pageant for Miss Hooters International. So I sent my submission, and we'll see if I get accepted or not, but, yeah.
Where is that this year, do you know?
That, I think... Actually, I'm not really too sure about that.
I know they've had them in Las Vegas and Orlando.
They had it in Orlando, Vegas, Lake Tahoe. They had it 1 year. So, yeah, we're just kind of... I'm waiting to see, but yeah, it'll be a fun surprise. We'll see. Fingers crossed if I get it. If not, still gonna go anyways, wherever it is, so I can go and have fun with my squad.
That sounds great.
Yeah, but
actually, those Hooters calendars, I bought like 5 of them as a business expense, and but they have coupons in them. So it really, and they give you like a free beer with each calendar.
Yeah,
I did the math. You make money.
Yeah, it's like it's $100 worth of Hooters coupons, and it's like every month it's something different. Like you can get like free wings one time, free fried pickles,
They're fried
2
pickles
appetizers.
This month. I use mine.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, other aspirations. I love to travel. I like to travel.
Where have you been?
I have not. The only place out of the country that I've been is the Bahamas, but I have been. I went to Vegas this past December. I go to Texas quite a bit. I have some friends out there that I like to go and see. I go
Where do you want to go that you haven't been?
Want to go where I haven't been? I want to go to Italy. I want to go there. I want to see the
beautiful.
Yeah, I want to go there. That would be fun. Italy or.
You have to put that in the contract.
Yeah, put that in the contract.
When we get to 10 million viewers,
put it in the contract.
Remote Italian. Can we do a remote episode?
Yeah, we could do remote. We can take it abroad to Italy, interview someone on the streets there.
I do know a little Italian. My father spoke fluent Italian, and he always was trying to teach me when I was a kid, and I regret that because Italian and Spanish are close. Mm-hmm. So if I learned Italian, I probably could have pretty much had a path to learn Spanish. Yeah. My dad's side of the family, they're from Germany, Croatia, Yugoslavia. I don't think it's there anymore, but now it's just a part of Germany. So I could be wrong. I don't know. But they are from Yugoslavia. They came here when they were young. So before your accident, did you think like all this attorney advertising? I won't mention any names, but we all know who they are. I mean, it's not just Florida. When I was in Louisiana, they were all over the place too. And now other states that never had attorney advertising do have it. Did you think that was a scam?
You know what? Like at first, like when I was like younger and not knowing, like, yeah, I was like, what is this? Like, those like TV commercials that come on at like 12 a.m., you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, what is going on? But then I met Tominator and I was like, well, this is actually pretty serious. I didn't realize, like, yeah.
I'll tell you a story.
I think it works, though, the advertisement, for sure.
I'll tell you a story. My freshman year of college, you had to take like an English elective. And I didn't major in English. I was like an economics major. So I selected Shakespeare as the class because it was sort of the least.
Right.
I hated it the least of all the choices.
Yep.
And I actually really enjoyed the class. And I kind of got into Shakespeare. And there's a lot of like movies either directly related to Shakespeare out or movies that are basically a ripoff of Shakespeare and plays like, new stuff. But anyway, there was one famous quote in one of his plays was called Henry VI, Part 2. And it was these guys that were plotting to try to overthrow the government. One of them was this vicious murderer character named Dick the Butcher. They called him Dick the Butcher because he would butcher people. And when they were planning to take over the government, he said, the famous quote is, the first thing we do is kill all the lawyers. Now, people think what Shakespeare meant was, these scumbag lawyers, let's kill them all. Mm-hmm. But he meant the opposite. Like, if you're trying to take over the government, get rid of lawyers. Now, there's no one to fight for the oppressed, to tell them, hey, this is wrong, this is illegal. Yeah. Like, because we are, not every attorney does it. Certainly there's bad in every profession, but they taught us in law school, like, I need to be better than the average person. It's not enough for me to be honest. I need to be, a higher level of integrity and ethics. Right. And I try to uphold that every day, best I can. Again, some women may disagree. No, I'm just, that's a joke. I'm kidding that.
Just joking.
So I always think of that line, like, from Shakespeare. And I've heard so many people, like, use that line in a negative, they think it's a negative connotation. Yeah. When that's absolutely the opposite of what Shakespeare had in mind when he put that in. I think the play was written in, like, 1599. So it's pretty old.
That is pretty old. Way before my time.
All right. Anything else you want to share with our viewers before we move on to our next topic? What's the work schedule? When can our viewers see you at
Hooters? Work schedule. The work schedule.
Is that confidential?
When I work Wednesday during the day, I work Sunday night at the outside bar too. I work Saturday mornings. I'm pretty much there like 4 to 5 days a week, so you could always find me there. Honestly, I go there when I hang out too. Just a good place to hang out.
Do you prefer bartending or serving?
Bartending for sure.
Really?
I don't mind either, but bartending, you're just more free, I guess. Like, you're just like, people want to go there to like hang out at the bar and drink. Serving is more of like people want to dine in and they want to get in and out and whatever else. But I prefer bartending. It's more fun. Mixing drinks, shaking the shots.
I had young lawyers asking me, where I get my cases because I'm not on TV. I've thought about it, but I'm busy enough. And one area is like a lot of bartenders refer clients to me because people tell their bartender, it's like, I guess they say women tell their hairdresser.
Yeah, everything.
Their personal stuff.
I am also a hairstylist, so that is
that true? Did your clients tell you their personal business
all the time, and sometimes more than you want to hear? But you just have to, whoa, okay, and you're just still like brushing their hair like nothing ever happened. But
do you still do hairstyling?
I do. I just do it like out of my house right now, just for like friends right now. I took a break because of like the opportunities that came up with Hooters, so I took a break. But I'm gonna go back into it, I think, soon sometime. I used to love my old salon that I was at, Mahalo Wild.
We can give that plug. Where are they located?
They're located on 41. I think 41. I don't remember the exact address, but Mahalo Wild. They're located in Sarasota, right on 41. Girls, they're awesome. I love them. But
You strongly recommend it?
Yeah, strongly recommend. I love those girls. Yeah.
All right, we hear that out there. I don't need that.
We can give you a buff and wax. You don't do that? We could like polish your head if you want.
I don't know if it looked better or worse.
We'll do it on the podcast one day. It's like entertainment in the background.
All right. As I mentioned at the outset, this isn't just going to be a legal podcast. I will touch on legal topics I think can help people, like talk about maybe if you have an insurance claim on your home burns down or hurricane damage or you get in a car accident, the do's and don'ts. I will mention, and I'm also, as I said earlier, in other states, so I might tweak certain things, like say, you're in Louisiana, you might get hit with hurricanes, but if you're in Iowa, it might be tornadoes or what have you. But for today, we're going to mix it up because for those who don't know, as I mentioned, OJ Simpson passed away today. I believe he was 76 years old. Sarah, do you even know who OJ Simpson is?
I've heard a few things, but you kind of know from the relevant world, I guess, but before my time, I wasn't even born yet when it happened, so.
I'll give you a little background. I'm a huge sports fan, like I mentioned, that's going to be a topic. Hopefully one day Tom Brady will come on or call in. But I mean, I'm all sports my whole life. And OJ was a football running back. He played at the University of Southern California. He came in second in the Heisman Trophy balloting in 1967 and won the Heisman Trophy in 1968. He was the first player drafted into the NFL by the Buffalo Bills in 1969.
Talent.
And he was the first running back ever to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. And at that time, the NFL season was only 14 games, whereas now it's 17 games. No other player rushed for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. It has since been done in a 16 and 17-game season. But I guess what OJ is even more well known for is in 1994, his wife and a friend of hers were murdered in Southern California. And OJ Simpson was arrested. There was a boatload of incriminating evidence against him. Everybody's seen it, like a famous I was watching the NBA championship, and they cut away from it to show OJ and his best friend was a gentleman named A.C. Cowlings. They were boyhood friends and played college football together and pro football together. He had a white Ford Bronco truck, and A.C. Cowlings was driving, and OJ was in the back seat. They were fleeing, and they had what's called a slow speed chase. Like the police didn't want to cause an accident, so they were following behind that slow speed. And he eventually did, turn himself in. And he hired what they called at the time the dream team of attorneys, like F. Lee Bailey, who was a great attorney, many famous clients going back to the 1950s, Robert Shapiro, a very famous attorney in California, Johnny Cochran, a famous trial attorney, Robert Kardashian, who the father of Kim, and from what I've read, obviously I've never spoken to Kim, but I think that's one of the reasons why she wants to be an attorney, because her dad was.
I think Kimmy's going to kill it as an attorney. I think she is. I think she'll do pretty well at it, honestly.
What's interesting about that is... well,
because she does something for, like, the prisoners right now, right?
She tries to... there's something like that in every state where... with technology, they're finding that a lot of people are wrongfully convicted, like DNA evidence and whatever. So she's involved with that, which I think is great. Obviously, she doesn't need the money. But But I think that's great that she's even doing that, where she doesn't, have to do it.
But she does it out of the goodness, yeah.
But her father was part of OJ Simpson's legal team. And the trial lasted like a long time. I want to say 6 months. Wow. And they had like hundreds of witnesses.
We're hearing about the glove.
That's a very controversial thing. Like they put a glove on him and it didn't fit. And the argument is that they even need to put the glove on him because they had so much other evidence.
Yeah.
Like it was, some people say it was a legal blunder, but the jury did not convict him. And what happened was the family of his ex-wife's friend, because his wife, they were divorced at the time. There had been a long history of alleged abuse, and then they got divorced, and then they tried to, got back together.
Right.
And so his ex-wife's parents and the father of his ex-wife's friend sued O.J. Simpson civilly. Like the case was a criminal case for the murder, but they sued him civilly, and they got a judgment of $33.5 million, which I think like maybe 1% of it was paid. O.J. Simpson just didn't pay any of it.
Yeah.
And he was able to protect his assets. Like you can protect your home in some states, like what you call homestead your house. So creditors can't touch it. Has to be your primary residence. And also his NFL pension was a lot of money, and they normally can't touch your pension in a lawsuit judgment. It'll be interesting to see. This is not my specialty area. What happens now that he's dead? Will the families be able to go after his estate for that money? I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah. The memes are going crazy right now. After he passed away, these meme pages, the meme pages right now on Instagram, they're actually going crazy. They have like the SpongeBob meme. Let me see. I could pull it up real quick.
You weren't even alive when any of this happened, but this was a huge deal. And I go back to I remember watching O.J. rush for. I remember the game he got to 2,000 yards was in New York against the New York Jets, and it was snowing. And I remember watching that game on TV. And he was also an actor, tons of commercials and stuff.
Yeah,
he was on Monday Night Football. He was famous for Hertz Rent-A-Car. He was their if you want to call it pitch man for years. He would be running through the airport and the whole thing was their deal was you don't need to run through airports with Hertz because you just get in and out.
Yeah, right. Have you seen this meme?
No, I haven't.
It says OJ getting to hell and trying to find the man that took his wife's life, and it's SpongeBob, but it says wanted, but it's SpongeBob, and he's looking for the wanted man, but it's him. They're just funny. I just laugh at them because I just think they're too good. Memes nowadays are really good.
But he also was an actor. I was watching. I love to watch old movies on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like in some of them, they'll
black and white movies or regular movies.
No, regular movies.
Which type of old movies?
But I was watching. They wanted me to pay. There was a 1974 disaster movie called The Towering Inferno. Really big time cast of actors Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, Faye Dunaway. Just an all-star cast at the time. You haven't heard of any of these people probably.
No.
But
none.
OJ Simpson was in it.
Oh.
And it was about the tallest building in the world, 140 stories in San Francisco.
Okay, yeah.
It catches on fire. And O.J. Simpson plays the head of security for this building. He's the security guard.
Yeah.
And the whole movie, I wanted to watch it.
Was this before or after the case?
This before his case.
Before the case. Okay.
And I wanted to watch the movie, but they wanted you to pay full price for it, even though it's a movie from 50 years ago. But you can watch.
They still want you to pay
scenes on YouTube.
I saw you to go part one, part two.
Yeah, I did that. I went part one, part two. So there was a scene where Steve McQueen plays the fire chief, and he comes in. The building is catching on fire. It's a big deal. 140-story building, people in it. They're not gonna.
Right.
And he's arguing with O.J. Simpson. We need to know what type of every business on this floor, and then. I watched this scene last week. I didn't know he was, obviously he was going to die, but it was a great scene where Steve McQueen is arguing with O.J. Simpson about the whole point of it was that these businesses could have flammable items.
Right.
Like say, you're making, certain chemicals and a business uses chemicals, they could catch on fire.
Right.
So it was a pretty good. It's funny that was on. Ironic that and now this happened, but like I said, the trial took forever, and there
was his life kind of ruined after that? Would you say, for a while, or was it just kind of dismissed?
He kind of flaunted. This is my impression now. Like obviously I didn't know OJ Simpson personally, but I kind of felt that he flaunted it. These people are dead. And he's just living life like everything's great.
Everything's
he played golf almost every day because he kept his pension. They couldn't touch that.
Right, yeah.
And that was enough to live. He did, though, ironically enough, he had tons of memorabilia, like being a great football player, like Heisman trophies.
Right.
And all kinds of stuff. And these guys in Las Vegas stole his memorabilia. So instead of calling the police and doing it the right way, OJ gets a couple bad guys, and they just go in there with guns and take the stuff back. He goes to jail for that. He got 30 years, but he got out after 9 because they use, but it's ironic that he was probably innocent. They did steal his memorabilia.
Right.
But the case where it appears that he was guilty and should have probably been doing life in prison, he walked away scot-free. But
right.
And what's funny is right after the verdict, he meets a 19-year-old bartender, and she lived with him for 13 years. He dated her for 13 years. So he was just nothing really ever happened to him bad. But he did go away for 9 years for the memorabilia theft.
Was he still playing football when the murder of his? No, he was done.
I think his last year was 1979, and the murders were in 94. So he had been
so this was years.
But he was very well known, all over the movies. If you remember the Naked Gun movies, which you probably never heard of, he was in them. There were at least 3 of them.
I've not.
You should really watch them if you want to laugh. But they were pretty funny. And, all kinds of broadcasting. I mentioned Monday Night Football. So he was pretty, up. When this happened, it was it's not very often you get someone that famous that apparently commits a murder. It was just crazy. All over the place. And I remember when the verdict came down, I was working, and I wasn't in my office. I was driving.
Right.
And I pulled over to the side of the road to hear it.
Yeah.
I parked my car. It was on the radio.
Do you think it would be different, say if it were happened today, because media is so much different now? Would you say that, it would be so much different today? Do you think that the killer would have gotten caught? Did they ever arrest anybody for it, or was
they
it just
arrested him?
And that was
the
it?
evidence was so overwhelming. There was all blood in his driveway.
So he never got put in jail for that, though, did he? He came out innocent, right?
Yeah, he was found not guilty. The jury found him not guilty.
I feel like it would be so much different nowadays with media and the social media and people being everywhere. I feel like the outcome would have been so much different, in my opinion.
And the famous line I mentioned his dream team of lawyers, Johnny Cochran he's also passed away. I think Kim Kardashian's father's passed away. F. Lee Bailey, I believe he's passed away. I think the only lawyers left are Alan Dershowitz, was a famous Harvard lawyer, and Robert Shapiro, who kind of led the team. But Johnny Cochran's famous line was, "If it does not fit, you must have quit," because the glove didn't fit. You could YouTube it, OJ trying on the glove. It's halfway down.
Yeah. Yep. And he's like, "It doesn't fit."
But he was really very articulate, good-looking guy, great football player. It was just really the whole country was for months really haven't seen anything like it since.
Yeah.
So that's the end of an era, I guess, so to speak.
Era closed.
So that's our big thing today. So I think that kind of wraps up our initial episode. It's been great having you, Sarah. I'll have that contract for you tomorrow.
Get that contract written up.
We'd love to have you back with us every week.
Absolutely. I'm here for it.
We're going to have, like I said, a variety of topics. We're coming into an election year. Obviously, the country's really polarized about that. We'll talk about that. The economy.
Spill the tea on a lot of things.
We'll have you lead the health and fitness episodes. I'll lead the food and drink episodes.
All right, that works.
Entertainment. We'll talk movies, TV, music. And of course, as I mentioned, legal topics. We'll put something there every week because I could talk about I know it's a little boring. That's why I want to mix it up. But I could talk about the law every week for the whole show. But we might have only 3 listeners. All right, I want to thank everybody, and that'll do it for the debut episode of the TomCast.
Thanks for having me, Tominator.
Thank you.